My name is Duddy, Settle Builds and Stuff. Today I've got something very special for you. We're going to be blinking, causing volatile with Astrocyte verse. We're going to have a volatile Song of Flame, which is absolutely nuts. We're also going to be featuring volatile Threadlings via Weaver's Call. We're literally just going to be blinking left, right and centre. We've also got some swords to show you as well, which make this build go absolutely crazy. So stay with me, I'm going to break it all down. The whole build is based around Astrocyte verse, move to survive, blink further and more frequently, causing targets near you to become volatile, weapon readies quickly, out of blink and your radar remains up. The next part is about Nova Warp. We're not really bothered about Nova Warp, we can't really use it because we're on Prismatic, but it also provides a moderate benefit to airborne effectiveness stat of all weapons. But when you blink, you can literally blink more often with the Astrocyte verse, and you can do it for further distances, but you'll just see this little sort of circle that goes beneath me when I jump. Anything under that little radius there, that is all going to become a volatile. So the loop of play is just to jump over some targets, make them volatile. And what I did notice, because of how much you can blink, it actually cloaks you quite a lot as well, so it does like a cloaking effect for a second, and the enemies don't know where you are. Even at endgame stuff, you can sort of blink about, a bit like Backrus. The movement does actually confuse the enemies, but make things volatile like so. Now I started thinking of obviously weapons, something like Chivalric Fire, a caster frame sword, Void, something like Heartshadow, which is also pretty decent. This makes you invisible. You've also got the Void Ergo some with Unplanned Reprieve. There is some other options you can run into the game, but I just felt like the Void Swords, especially the Ergo some with the Unplanned Reprieve, felt really nice. Because you could just get them Void explosions everywhere. Plus Void Swords, a lot of these Void weapons and swords have repulsor brace, things like that, so you could take advantage of that. It doesn't have to be swords, I just found swords perfect. So basically just blink over, volatile, detonate them, and you're on a winner. You've got that devour going as well, with the aspect on the Warlock, which is just crazy. Now, Phoenix Dive, you can add into this pretty decently. Dive to the ground, create a burst of solar light that cures nearby allies. It feels pretty nice. You're going to blink, mid-blink, get your Phoenix Dive down. You're also applying ×2 cure to yourself and your teammates. That's just in case you do take a bit of damage. You're going to slam to the ground, get your cure going ×2, which is just feels absolutely exceptional. Now, you can also add Weaver's Call to this. This is where I started thinking about the build. Every time you use your class ability, you're going to weave 3 Threadlings. So you're going to make things volatile, get your Phoenix Dive going, and they're all volatiled up, and your Threadlings are going to proc that are volatile as well. Now this is just felt really nice when I was doing this. Like I said, I was just messing around, thinking how can I make this build better. So Phoenix Dive, get your Threadlings going, they'll proc your Devour, they're going to proc the volatile explosions. Really nice little fit. Now this is where the build starts to get really serious now, because you're Prismatic, when you're Transcendence, this volatile explosions via the Astrocyte verse is just going to buff this super out to another level, because you've literally got infinite volatile rounds. Your blink doesn't have any cooldown whatsoever really. I think I noticed one tiny cooldown in the full time I was using it for like a second, but buffing your Transcendence super out is crazy. But this is where it gets even more mental, because your Song of Flame, as we know, is absolutely busted anyway. You're going to cause ignitions, scorch and everything like that. And not only that, you're an absolute tank when you've got this super going. Blink over and your volatile Song of Flame becomes an absolute monster. You are literally running around, blinking, causing ignitions, volatile explosions, scorch everywhere. It just buffs this super out again to another level. Just having volatile on top of your Song of Flame is just absolutely crazy. And again, that Song of Flame, you're an absolute unit when you've got this going. You can literally just face tank bosses, Hive, Lucian Hive, things like that. It's just absolutely crazy. And like I said, it does actually buff the super out, because you're getting volatile and you've got that cure from your Phoenix Dive just as it ends, for example, just to heal you and your teammates. And everything again around that target is going to be volatiled up. Your Threadlings will do a bit of work for you as well. These Threadlings felt really nice. This will proc your Devour as well, obviously, because it's an ability kill. So it's just absolutely crazy having Devour and Cure on tap pretty much all of the time. Now again, watch these clips here. For this GM, a lot of the Void Shields in here, this is just perfection for this GM. There's going to be other GMs, other activities where we're going to have so many void shields, but just having volatile and that void ergo sum with unplanned reprieve feels absolutely crazy. There is some other swords and weapons you could consider, things like buried bloodline, shotguns, even machine guns, all with repulsive brace, destabilizing round weapons, things like that. It just feels absolutely crazy. And that Song of Flame again, it just buffs this out as if it needs any more buffs in the game. But just adding volatile to everything else that your Song of Flame offers just feels absolutely nuts. In a moment I'm going to show you my aspects that I like to run and things like that. But trust me, stay to the end of the video because I've got another sword to show you that works really nicely with this as well. But for now, the aspects for Fragments, obviously Weaver's Call, Devour, Incinerator Snap. This, you can use this like you do the Weaver's Call, blink over, get your Incinerator Snap going, Scorch and Volatile. This will obviously also proc your Radiance via Facet of Dawn. Powered melee hits against targets make you Radiant. The next one is really important, this one, because you've got your Devour going all of the time and your Radiant Facet of Hope. While you have an elemental buff, your class ability regenerates more quickly. You're going to get more Phoenix Dives for your cure. The next one, because we're blinking into enemies, we're going to be surrounded. Facet of Protection is really good. While surrounded by combatants, you are more resistant to incoming damage. Facet of Dominance, your Void Grenades weaken targets and your Arc Grenades jolt targets. I like to run the Void Grenade for the weakening, the Vortex Grenade. And then lastly, the one that makes sort of big sense to me, Facet of Bravery, get more volatile rounds on your Void Swords when you get kills with your Void Grenades. And as we know, Vortex Grenades are pretty strong. So, quick recap, like I said, I use this in GMs. In this GM it's particularly good because of all the Void Shields. There's loads of other weapons, as I've already mentioned, you could consider, which we'll go into a little bit in a moment as well. But repulsive brace weapons, destabilizing, things like that. Heartshadow feels really good because of the invisibility as well for extra protection, extra survivability. But you've got your Devour going, you've got your Cure going, you've got Radiant going. You're pretty tanky, if I'm being honest. Now, again, I haven't really had much time to spec into like Ergo sums, for example. You've got the Arc Conductor Sword, which will chain Arc and Volatile with this build as well. And you've also got something like the Ergo Sum with Perfect Fifth, which scorches. That and your Celestial Fire and your Song of Flame is just another variant of this build you could probably look at. Again, I only sort of been using this build for a couple of days. I haven't really had much time to look into the sort of Scorch Ignition side of it, but you could actually Volatile and Scorch Ignition, or Volatile and Arc Conductor, whichever way you want to go with this build. I just wanted to throw that in there as another option for the build. I'll leave a dim link in the video description. I hope you found this helpful. Have a great day.